you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do on YouTube, and what your influences are and why you started?
Sure thing. I am Max Roach. I'm a filmmaker and YouTuber. I like to create videos weekly, and I have 434 subscribers and 12,000 views. And I got inspired by other creators because I've grown up watching YouTube, and obviously inspiration from movies, short films. And I wanted to start making YouTube videos because I loved acting, as well as I always wanted to express my opinions online and have that kind of channel feel. I don't know. I like creating stuff and watching that back and showing other people and being impressed with myself, and I like that about the channel, how I can show people.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about some of the big controversies that happened over 2018. One of which is TanaCon.
Cool.
Tell us how you feel about that.
Wow, TanaCon. So much to talk about. Wow, that was shocking. I think that's the right word for it. It just didn't work. It was a failed experiment, and they should never try and do something like that again. I believe it started when Telemoju didn't get invited for a panel for VidCon, and she got rattled by that. She didn't really like YouTube, so she was like, why not? I'm going to make my own convention. Obviously it didn't work out. As seen, a lot of people got hurt, like heat stroke, and it was so shady and unorganised that they just shouldn't have tried it in the first place.
So yeah, it was just sort of like mainly down to like not being organised enough. Would you say that it's quite maybe narcissistic, or sort of that she's quite arrogant to almost hit back at YouTube for not inviting her to VidCon by having her own convention?
Yeah, I think it's childish.
Okay.
She didn't need to do it. I think that she kind of, it was a trigger move. She was like, oh, if they're not going to invite me to this, I'm going to do this. And I don't think that's right. She's like an adult. She shouldn't behave like that. And she shouldn't put other people at risk for her self-gain. So, she oversold the tickets. People flying in from different countries to go to this convention with some shady company, and at a hotel, like, she was trying to create something for herself, and she ended up hurting other people and other creators in the process. And there was a whole Shane Dawson documentary about it. I haven't watched it myself, but it just shows that it was doomed to fail from the start. She should have seen that in hindsight, but she wanted to follow through for herself. What I don't think is a good idea.
Okay. So in like 2018, another really big thing was the KSI and Logan Paul fight. It was like one of the biggest boxing events ever. So it got streamed online, but you had to pay to get in, and then there's a few undercards, a lot of different YouTubers, and it really gained a lot of revenue for the creators involved. What's your opinion on that?
That fight was huge. The build-up was even bigger than the fight, and I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there was a reason behind that. So you had to pay to watch a match everyone's been waiting to see. It's like being really excited for a movie, building up to it, and then not being able to see it because they're only streaming it in cinemas where it's really expensive to see it. It's just such a letdown, because I didn't get to see the match where I would have loved to see it. And it's a shame YouTube didn't really see that in hindsight, where I guess it's their choice that they want to make it pay-per-view, and they wanted like the realism of like the boxing match. But at the end of the day, it's a YouTube boxing match. And YouTube is a site where you can watch your creators make their videos, anything they want, for free. I mean, apart from YouTube Premium, that's completely different. The whole build-up was on YouTube, and yet you couldn't watch the final thing on YouTube. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think they lost out on a massive market. I think other platforms profited from that, and I just don't agree with it. I feel like it was good for creators all around, making the build-up videos. Obviously, it brought a lot of attention to YouTube, but at the same time, I agree with it. At the same time, I disagree with it because the whole thing ended up in the draw anyway. No one won.
Yeah.
What's the point? Like they always had another one booked, but from the point system, it clearly shows like KSI should have won, but yet they still made it a draw. I don't know if it's fixed. I don't know how I would stand on that, because one point I think it is fixed, and yet on other points I don't think it is. So I don't know how I feel about that, but in total, I disagree with how they done it, but I agree with the build-up.
Okay. Another part that was really huge last year that brought a lot of revenue to the site, that brought a lot of attention to the site was like the FouseyTube convention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this was basically a time where FouseyTube sort of said that he's going to do something similar to TanaCon, where he's going to make his own convention. He dropped a lot of names. He said a lot of rappers are going to be there, like Drake and like Machine Gun Kelly, and then it basically completely was a lie, to be honest. It was all a lie. So what's your view on that?
Wow. I don't know as much on FouseyTube as on the fight, but I know that it was a massive fail. And I just think that he should have done it. He dropped, as you said, he dropped so many names, like Drake, but at the end of it, he just invited them. He didn't secure those names. You can't say that you secured something when you haven't. I think it's wrong, and I don't know what the reason was for. I think he just wanted to create something amazing, but it ended up just being a massive flop. A lot of people waste their time and money, and he made it out to be such a big thing when in hindsight he should have seen that maybe this won't go ahead, maybe I need a bit more time, because I believe that he created it in quite a short amount of time, and he should have spent more time on it, thought about it. So I just feel like it was a bad moment in his career.
Yeah. So another really big thing that happened towards the end of the year was the whole PewDiePie versus T-Series fiasco. Yeah. It was a race almost, really, and it sort of highlighted something that was almost a long time coming for the YouTube community. And yeah, what was your take on the entire situation?
I think it was a wake-up call. See, you have all of these creators who create footage, like PewDiePie, who's been doing it daily for ages. Other creators spent as much time as he have, and not even a quarter where he is, not even like a 16th. And yet, you see this corporation who were just born for a company, who just a faceless company, I'd say, and they almost overtake PewDiePie, but the community fights back. A lot of people see it as like this massive fun and games, let's see how far it can go, but I see it as a metaphor for the corporate overtake of YouTube, and how you have companies like Vivo, and then you have T-Series now, who are gaining so many more followers, but at the end of the day, it's just bots. They're not a face, they don't have any point of view, they're just trying to make money from it. And a lot of time, YouTube just spells from people's imaginations, their views, their thoughts, and T-Series just goes by all of that. They don't want to provoke emotion, they just want to post something they've made and spent money on, and they couldn't post it anywhere else but YouTube. And I don't agree with that. I don't think it's on, and I feel like people should stand up for it, even if people don't like PewDiePie. I know he's screwed up in the past. I don't agree with that, but I think that the overall look of it should be that YouTube shouldn't be run by companies. It has it in the name YouTube, and it should be run by the people. And I don't think YouTube themselves understand that, because they haven't been supporting him. They like to say that they support their creators, but they also support companies as well.
Yeah. So, like, in conclusion, where would you like to see YouTube go in the future? What is your opinion on YouTube right now as a whole? And yeah,
Going forward, I would like to see. Well, I think it's going in the right direction. They have a lot more services than they did in the past. You can now donate money to your favorite creators, help them out. You can live stream now. There's so much more stuff that you could do in the past, and I feel like it's a brilliant way to promote anything you're doing. And in the future, I'd like to see YouTube have a way to help the new generation. So you have people like Smosh and Casey Neistat who are getting on, and I still watch their videos. I still think they're great, but the most of the future of YouTube is not from YouTube. They weren't born on YouTube. They were, all these people from sites like Musical.ly or TikTok who gained following from not their filmmaking or their views, from what they look like. And in the future, I want to see YouTube support people like Elle Mills, or like promote channels they like and be more of a face rather than a company. And that's what I'd like to see in the future. I'd like to see smaller channels grow. That'd be amazing to see.
thank you for your time, Max.
That's right, no worries.
Just get out.